Does anybody know what a paradox is? What is a paradox in life?
I think of it as like two seemingly different things
Yes.
that can go together.
When two things don't go, or like at first glance, when two things don't go together, right? Or like, wait, that doesn't look normal.
Yeah, like they seem like they shouldn't go together.
Yes, they seem like they shouldn't. Excellent. And so a paradox, this is like, I guess the official definition, is a statement or proposition that seems self-contradictory or seems like it couldn't be true, but there actually is a possible truth to it. So the example I have here is just, I must be cruel to be kind. Like that sounds like it could be a paradox, but couldn't that somehow be true? Can anybody think of a time where I must be cruel to be kind?
Yeah, maybe as for teacher.
As a teacher, yeah, like maybe, and like cruel can be a very, like, I'm like, I don't want a teacher that's ever cruel. I'm sure cruel can be like, maybe it's like giving a cruel grade or a hard grade, but we're actually being kind by showing them that they need to work harder or focus on these other areas. Excellent job, Lucy. So our goal of these questions is to figure out why the two surprising facts could be true at the same time. So it's kind of like a mystery. It's like, okay, if these two things are happening, how could they possibly be happening? All right, so here is the example from the video as well, but we'll go ahead and put in the chat how it could be true. I will lose weight by eating more. How could that be true? So the big thing here we want to focus on is, Yeneth, you're going to be my first example here. You explained how you could be losing weight, which isn't terrible. But the thing that we have to do is we have to find the two facts that are contradicting each other. So it's losing weight and eating more. And we have to address why those two things could be true at the same time. So when you said exercise more, that is like, that could be why I'm losing weight. Absolutely. But it doesn't necessarily explain why my goal is to eat more to do it. That is the most common reason that people miss paradox questions, actually, is they pick an answer that only addresses one side. So I'm so glad that you said that, so I could point that out. So people that are saying eat more to boost your metabolism, or saying like, I'm going to eat more vegetables, so I'm eating more food, like in maybe quantity, but the quality is worth it, right? Like it's better for me to eat way more vegetables than just eat a little bit of cake. Excellent. All right, so the next example I have is, I have a couple examples. So go ahead and take a minute and think about these. And so let's do this first one together of just finding the two facts, just so we can work over our process of attacking these. So this one says, we need to go backwards to go forwards. So what are our two facts that are kind of weird that they're happening at the same time? Yeneth, what do you think? Oh, you're on mute.
Sorry, say that again.
And number one, what are our two facts that are weird that are happening at the same time?
Sometimes when you're doing something and you miss a very important point, you have to go back and review your stuff in order to get to the point.
Oh, you're explaining why. I'm a step behind you. Our two facts that contradict each other is like having to go backwards to go forwards, right? So, sorry, I know this seems simple. I just want everybody to get comfortable like finding the 2 points and then asking yourself, why can these 2 points be correct at the same time? So find the 2 points and make your predictions for each of these. All right, Guadalupe, do you have an answer for number one?
No.
No? Okay, no worries. Okay, so let's see. I'll ask this question. So we say we need to go backwards to go forwards. We want to explain why could it be that sometimes in life or in general, we have to go backwards in order to go forwards? Andrea, do you have a explanation for that?
Um, I don't know. This one was really making me think so deep when I feel like I shouldn't have to. Like I was thinking about life examples. Like
Yeah,
sometimes you need to make a mistake, which is going backwards in order to get back up to go forward.
absolutely. Yeah,
Oh, oh,
sure.
okay.
No, absolutely. These aren't. I mean, they are they actually are really deep, like meaning wise, but they're
Mhm.
simple in the explanations.
Right.
Yes.
That's how I read
Like,
this.
or it could just be
Yeah.
like if there's a what are those called? Whatever, like, or when you're driving and there's what is that? A detour?
A detour, yeah.
Yeah, a detour. It could just be a detour, right? Like I can't get
Mhm.
through this road, so I have to go backwards in order to go forwards.
Right.
Or
That too.
like
That's a good one.
just like healing, oftentimes like we have to go backwards. Like I've been in counseling before, we have to go backwards in order to heal to go forwards.
Yeah,
Excellent.
that's a good one too. Okay.
Any one of those, like it sounds like a paradox at first, but it actually makes sense. There is a way that could explain it.
hmm
So then, Zuli, for number two, what are our two facts that are kind of weird that are happening at the same time?
It's telling us that basically social media disconnects us from each other. And so that kind
Yep.
of to
What are the
like
two facts though?
um two facts disconnecting us,
Or 2 points. What are the contradicting points?
that it's disconnecting us.
Yeah, social media, because social media and then disconnecting, right?
Yes.
So why might this be?
Um it's hard, like I know in my head, but it's so hard to like explain it out loud. Um it doesn't allow us to connect in person in real life because it's all through like
Yeah,
online.
yeah, social media, like it's like you would think social media would help build friendships, but sometimes it
Mhm.
actually makes you feel more alone.
Yeah, it takes away from like that raw relationship that you can have with someone.
Right. Or it's like, oh, I have 2,000 friends on Facebook, but it's like, do you have a real friend? Like, but that's not the same level of in
Exactly.
person. Excellent. And then lastly, um, Kelly, what were our two facts for number three?
Um, so increased knowledge would be like knowing things,
Mm-hmm.
and how little you know is like not knowing things.
Yes. This one is a little bit trick challenging, I think. But did you have a reason of why this might be?
Um, I was trying to, I don't know how to say it in like a succinct way, but because there's so much information in the world, once you start to like
Mm-hmm.
get some of it, you realize how much more there is that you didn't know
Yeah,
before.
exactly. Or like even like on a simple example of travel, it's like once you start like you increase your knowledge of travel and you go to a place, you realize like how much of the world you actually haven't seen. But when you live in your little box, you think that like what you live is like the only thing out there.
Yes.
Perfect. So I hope that this exercise kind of helps us to think about what the goal of a paradox question is. It really helps us show that we have to find those 2 points to help resolve the conflict of the two. And so as we go through the answer choices, we have to ask ourselves, does this answer show why both things can be true at the same time? So we can't just address one thing over the other. So you can ask yourself, does this explain why X is happening even though Z is happening? Um, and then lastly, we haven't talked about this a whole bunch yet, but these will be the first question that we're going over that are paradox questions. And paradox questions are what we call in the bottom up category. So that means that when we're looking at our answer choices, when we make predictions, we actually get to bring in new information. So we get to bring in something new. And so these tend to be stronger answer choices. And so with that, let's go ahead and try one. All right, so go ahead and read this one. Find your two facts and make your prediction and put your prediction in the chat.